Kathleen Savio's signature is distinctive, fluid lines with a dash of flair. It's penned on the bottom of a 2-page handwritten will. Being of sound body and mind, she and Drew left all their possessions to each other in the event of either of their deaths.
There was really nothing sinister about it. It was just simply in case something happened to us while we were on vacation.
The date of the will, March 2nd, 1997. Eerily, 7 years later, almost to the day, Kathleen Savio would be found dead in her bathtub. That simple handwritten statement would become her last will and testament.
She told me she would never make the divorce. She would never live to see the end of the divorce.
What was once ruled an accidental drowning is now being investigated as a possible murder.
There are strong indications that it was a homicide.
And that long-forgotten will? Now evidence in the investigation.
The effect of the will was very beneficial to Peterson.
Attorney Karen Conti reviewed the probate records in Kathleen Savio's estate for Fox News. She and Drew Peterson were divorced, but in a rare move, the judge allowed them to figure out the financial settlement later.
What was left to be resolved between these two people was money. There was a house that was sold, there was a property, a bar that was sold, and they were fighting over the cash.
Finally, they had come to somewhat of an agreement. 2 weeks before it was to be distributed, she died. It was a fantastic coincidence.
It had been a bitter divorce. Her husband was in the middle of an adulterous affair with 19-year-old Stacy Peterson. And while Kathleen remembered to change the beneficiaries on her life insurance, there was still that will.
To revoke a will is a very simple act. You just have to sign a piece of paper saying, I revoke the will, and have it witnessed by 2 people, and the will's revoked. So since she didn't do it, I have to assume that this is what she wanted to happen.
So, despite the divorce, Drew Peterson got all her furniture, jewelry, and the money from the sale of the home, about $288,000. He was also named guardian of the children's $1 million trust fund.
But if you look at it, they're trying to iron out their differences. It's not working. She ends up dead. A will appears. It's a pretty good timeline to show motive.
I guess if you're going to say that this is a motive for murder, there isn't a divorce that occurs where there isn't a motive for murder.
But take a close look at the will.
And I wrote out the will with Kathleen's instructions, and we simply had a couple friends that were over to witness it, and that was that simple.
Those friends turned out to be Peterson's former partner in the Bolingbrook Police Department and, according to the Savio family, Drew's best man at their wedding. Alex Morelli, Drew's former partner, says he wants nothing more to do with Drew and has nothing positive to say about him. He says Drew has turned his world upside down. The best man, Gary Marcolina, took off when we tried to talk to him. The old will names James B. Carroll, Drew's uncle, as executor and gives him full control. He confirmed Drew's account that he was going on vacation, but declined to comment further.
No, what I'm doing is showing what it's like to be Drew Peterson.
Once the will was admitted in court, Carroll promptly fired Kathleen's attorney and discharged another lawyer appointed by the court to watch out for the best interests of the children. So Mr. Carroll had an obligation not to be looking out for Drew, but to look out for Kathleen.
Absolutely.
Who does it appear that the executor was looking out for in this case?
Drew Peterson.